Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Final Show Films. I am Sen, your executive producer here. I want to thank you all for tuning in. I particularly want to thank our $25 tier supporters over at our Patreon page at patreon.com/fsfilms. Those being Jerry Alexander, Samantha Bates, and Catwater Flame and L, without whom we would do nearly as much of the things we do now. So, thank you all for supporting us over the years. And those of you that are watching live, please sit back, relax, and enjoy. And we're live, finally, after God knows how long. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Lancer, the Demon Core. I am Sen, your game master for the evening. I am joined this week by our now occasionally monthly appearing cast members, Mara.
Hi, I'm Mara. I'm playing Call Sign Fury, Helena Aries, who is piloting the wrecked hull of the SSC Black Witch Sudden Intervention. I think that's everything.
And William.
Hi, I'm William or Shawnee, and I am playing Shawnee Valkyrie Dragonheart, the pilot of the Horus Balor Sigrun.
And Andrew.
Hello, I'm Andrew, playing Scalar Shepherd and also Ball of Anxiety. Call sign Phoenix. Currently piloting the Knights of the Rose Banneret frame Patience.
We are not going to be joined this week by Rudy, whose allergies are acting up, but we are finally back. Apologize for the long hiatus between episodes. This evening, the Friday evening time slot continues to prove to be a bugbear, but it is one that we continue to tackle. Some might say you should stop tackling a bugbear, but you know what? Those people don't live dangerously. When last we... Oh, yes, as always, trans rights are human rights. Black Lives Matter. And there's a lot of shitty people in the world that I would like to punch, but I'm going to refrain from naming them tonight. Instead, I will regale you with a tale of how the last time we had our Lancers together, they fought against a group of assimilated mechs as they planned a search and destroy mission to acquire the chassis of one of them, or to acquire a largely intact assimilated mech in order to bring it back to the Demon Core for study, which they successfully did, and in doing so acquired some rewards that they have notes on.
It nearly tried to infect our mechs.
Yes, it did.
Sad.
It did. They have learned repeatedly now that the assimilated mechs do bad things to your mechs. Both mentally, as far as the mechs are concerned, and physically, also as far as the mechs are concerned. But you are aboard the Strike Shuttle Vanguard, returning to the forward operating base of the Demon Core, with your quarry in tow when we rejoin our group. I believe Haller is the one piloting right now. So she lets y'all know that you'll be back to the base momentarily. So you have probably about an hour before the ship docks with the forward operating base. Is there anything that y'all are doing in the meantime?
So Fury is jittery and doesn't look good when she comes out of that mech. And is going to kind of pace around the shuttle.
Do you pace around in the cargo bay, or do you stay to the upper floor?
Everywhere, just all around.
So you do see, as you're pacing through the cargo bay, you do see your quarry. this deactivated mech. Which one was it that y'all managed to capture? Was it the Demolisher?
No, it was one of the smaller ones. It was the I think there was an archer.
There was a Demolisher, an Assault, Berserker, a Priest, a Breacher, and an Avenger.
I think it was the breacher.
The
Was the one
Breacher.
we took out.
So while you're pacing around in the guts,
Whatever the last
the
mech
ship.
standing on the previous battle map is, it should still be there.
I thought it was the Demolisher, but I mean, I think you disabled one before you destroyed the last one.
Yeah, maybe.
Hmm.
I'm fairly certain I completely wrecked the Demolisher with nano machines.
Y'all are better informed than I.
Yeah.
You know,
We have collected and mech.
And mech.
There is and mech in thing. While you are stalking the halls, you see this assimilated mech that's been sort of bound, trussed and bound, and attached to the back end of the cargo bay area. What skill triggers do you have?
Good question. Hang on, let me look. Act unseen or unheard, spot, survive, and stay cool.
Okay, let me make this. I'd like you to make a stay cool roll for me.
Sure, I get +2 to that.
Also, what's your bond?
It is go for a walk.
No.
Oh yes, the wolf.
Wolf.
The wolf. Okay.
The wolf. Yeah, lone wolf. Okay. Now I have to remember how to do anything in this game.
So it's just a
let's
D20.
roll.
It's just a D20,
D20.
plus whatever modifier that your skill
+2.
trigger gives you.
All right, I get +2 on that.
Everything is just a D20.
13.
13, and tens are successes and below tens are failures. All right. So the 13, you are pretty. You're pretty sort of on edge, keyed up, but you're still maintaining that level of like battle readiness that you have when you're in the mech.
Mhm.
Which is why you don't jump when you hear a thudding sound coming from the inside of the assimilated mech.
Oh, I don't like that.
Just a thump, thump, thump.
I need to see what it is. This
You
is
do
a
it
bad
by
idea.
yourself, or do you let anyone else know?
Yes, I do it by myself. I'm a lone wolf.
So you walk up to this mech. You see, having gotten this close up to it in person now, you're sort of getting a better view of it than you had from your mech previously. The exterior is covered in what you would initially think from a distance perspective to be like some sort of reddish plant growth. But as you get closer, you realize that it's much more meaty than plants would normally be.
Yeah.
It does look like a red like a dark red vine sort of vine or like
Lichen.
not like it's definitely more viney than mossy. But it is that like sort of ropey multiple lengths sort of crisscrossing back and forth, spreading out and around from what you would assume to be the pilot hatch. Like it's coming out from it's coming out of the cracks where the pilot hatch could be, where the outline of the pilot hatch could be, and then sort of spreading back across it. And on like the center of the chest, there is a fairly large and smooth, like almost crystalline or some sort of glassy like red orb that is glowing softly and seems to be pulsing almost.
Is it pulsing in any sort of time with the thumping that's
No,
coming, or
it
is
doesn't seem
it's
to be
not?
pulsing in time with the thumping. No, it's
That's
sort of a
good.
steady, almost like a heartbeat. It's just sort of a steady pulsing. Is that red glow? But behind it, you can distinctly tell that behind that hatch, there is something just very not in rhythm or at all. Just
I take there's got to be like I don't know, a metal pole or something that I don't want to touch this thing because it freaks me out.
Yeah, there are various tools and things that you have.
But I want to whack sort of not on. I don't want to not to like break anything, but like as a like to like knocking on something and like knock on and say, "Hey!"
What skill trigger would you like to use for that?
If
you have one that you think is appropriate.
Maybe stay cool, survive if it's gonna attack me or something. Spot. Spot would probably be the most just to like notice what's happening with this or figure out what's going on.
Not that quite is what I'm thinking would be the correct skill. So let's just roll a d20 then.
Okay. That's a 3.
Yeah, so you go up, you go up, and you reach over. You got like a long wrench, and you heave up, and you just bring it down, and wham! And it doesn't. There's no. You're expecting like a metal ringing from the hatch below it, but it's really just a dull, wet thud that distinctly gives you the impression of hitting a person like in the head with this thing. It's that kind of a sound, not the sound that you would expect from hitting a mech. And it's extremely upsetting. You take some stress.
Okay.
Which, as soon as I can find the stress mechanic, I'll tell you what that is. Unless they only brought over the bonds and didn't bring over the...
No, stress is there. It's on page 88.
You say? Of the...
Of
the KTB book.
KTB?
Yeah.
There we go. So yeah, you take 1 stress.
Okay. Fuck. My God. Over everyone's like comm links or whatever we have, there's a string of swearing in French and English and whatever other languages. Sure, he knows swear words in, which I think is substantial because she likes people and has learned swear words and nothing else.
Valkyrie comes back over the comms. Everything all right, Fury?
No, the fucking thing that we have on board is making noises and I don't like it and I'm about to do something rash.
I'll be right there. And Valkyrie will make her way down to the hangar.
I want to put it out of its misery. And then the top comm goes silent and there is more pacing.
All right, so Valkyrie's heading down. Phoenix, are you responding to that at all?
There is a rather strange sounding response from Skylar as she sounds half asleep. Please don't break it any more than we already have. That's for the folks back at base to do.
Over the comms, Sinner sort of chimes in. Do you want me to come take a look at it?
Hey, you're probably a better mechanic than I am.
Fine, whatever.
I'm a field medic, but you know.
Yeah.
They're kind of gross and not fully inorganic, so he'll come
Probably
down
also a
as
better
well.
medic than I am, even though I have at least a little bit of medical training.
He'll come down. So yeah, you get down there, Valkyrie, and Sinner joins you pretty quickly behind. And yeah, you're also hearing that coming from inside what you would assume to be the cockpit.
It sounds like someone's trapped in there.
Based on what we've seen of the previous people that got caught up in this thing, I don't think it's quite a someone anymore.
I mean, do we want to just leave it and let them crack into it back at the base?
I mean, do we want the risk of whatever that thing is breaking out in the middle of the base and not being? And I mean, to be fair, they'll probably have guards on it, but still.
Yeah, I mean, in the middle of the base, we'll have guards and people with guns, and
We have guns,
I mean, yeah.
and it won't infect a giant area. You know what? I've talked myself into this. Fury reaches out to open up whatever.
All right. So you gotta give me a. Is there like do you have like an interfacing skill or not that?
I don't think so.
Uh, something like take control or.
Nope. I got rid of that one.
Let me see.
All I can do is try and stay cool.
Yeah, like take control.
It's probably just a
so this
10,
so this will be something like, take control, hacker fix.
We've confirmed no one in this party has hacker
none of
fix.
the above.
Okay. All right. Yeah.
This is why we're
so flat roll, flat 20.
all right.
I think
Beautiful.
Cereza specifically took hacker fix because none of us had
That's
it.
a 9.
9. Yeah. So you up and you start.
Would you like to take 2 stress and re-roll that?
Ooh, yes.
Yeah, you can if you want.
I would like to.
Sorry.
Yes.
Sorry. Can push themselves on any skill check by taking 1 stress, gaining +1 accuracy to the check.
Hmm.
So you can roll a d6 and add to that.
Okay. Well, that'll bring me above 10.
Oh, sorry. You can push failed.
Presumably?
Yeah, but you can push failed non-risky rolls into risky rolls at the cost of 1 stress.
Yeah, I'll do it.
Although a risky roll does mean that it has to hit up to 20.
Oh, well, that's
to-
14.
Yeah.
Do I re-roll the 20 then as well, or just a d6?
So I mean, this is up to the GM. So normally you would declare to try and push with advantage before you roll, but we were forgetting rules. So
I see.
like you can either push to get advantage before you roll usually, or if you fail the roll, you can push to re-roll it, but it becomes a risky roll, which means you need a 20 instead of a 10. But we were forgetting rules entirely because it's been a while, so sort of up to the DM to just
so
say,
a risky skill check still succeeds on a 10+. It's just that there's an obvious consequence if you roll less than a 20.
Got it. I'll do it.
Okay.
So just roll a d20 over again.
Yeah.
So if you push it, you take stress, you get +1 accuracy.
Or you can push a failed one into a re-roll, into a risky roll.
Okay, so then roll another d20.
Okay. Here we go.
And add the 6. So roll another
and
d20
add
and
that 5.
So we'll add that 5.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay. That's 19.
19. So
almost
a full success, but with a 19.
Yeah.
So yeah, you go in. You lead it with your. I forget, with your flash clone. Were you still missing the arm?
I wasn't missing an arm before.
I thought you had a prosthetic.
That's me.
No.
That's Phoenix.
Yeah.
It's Phoenix. Yep. Okay.
Phoenix
Fury
has a
had like
mechanical arm and leg.
implants and things.
Right. So yeah, so you just bare hand into where the handle should be and start pulling and tearing, and you manage to pull. You pull the door open, and you can see that there is this sort of like. There's this like sort of sticky, mucusy viscosity that is holding the hatch tight.
Mm-hmm.
And you keep pulling, and your muscles begin to bulge a little bit as you pull and pull and pull, and then there is a snapping sound, and you wrench the door open. As you wrench the hatch open, snapping loose several of these vine-like appendages that have come through, you see inside there is just a nest of the only way you can describe it is like a nest of meat. Like it's as if it was a dense spider web with a large cocoon in the middle, but far too fleshy to be web, right? I'm sorry, Andrew. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry for these descriptions.
Ugh.
I just can't think of any way. I can't think of any
It's
less
it's
gross
an
way of
egg.
describing it. Unfortunately.
It's an egg.
Yeah, that's fair.
So yeah, there's like this cocoon-like entity inside it, and you can see sort of like half out of that, there is a human question mark. Um, there's definitely like a humanoid aspect to it, but it also has this like sort of cybernetic enhancement to it. Your first instinct would actually be that it is a what are the Shawnee, what are the full robots?
Subaltern.
Subaltern. Yeah, your first instinct would be that this is like a meat subaltern, like an organic subaltern, as opposed to a mechanical one, inorganic one. Like it is definitely humanoid enough to function as a pilot of a mech, but it is not human. And it is sort of halfway out the cocoon, and it's got this like sort of. It looks like it's beaten one arm bloody and raw against the door, although you don't know if it ever had actual like skin to begin with. And it's sort of like half hanging out the cocoon, and that one arm is just completely deformed and just trying to slam against where the door was. You can now sort of get the idea of you're seeing the timing now, and it matches that thumping sound. It's just like flail, flail, flail as it sort of like gets to a point where it can try to swing. And it's not making any noise. It's just trying to flail at you now. You take 3 stress.
Yep.
Valkyrie sort of steps up, looks at the thing, and just pulls her sidearm and puts bullets into it until it stops moving.
Make me a stay cool check, Johnny.
Could I go for assault for actually, or apply fist to faces for killing it, or take control?
Killing it is not a challenge. You don't have to roll to kill it. This is rolling to maintain your composure while you are putting it into a helpless living thing.
I will take and stress to roll with an advantage.
All right.
There you go.
Roll with an accuracy.
With an accuracy, good, because that's what I needed. I rolled a 9. The accuracy makes it an 11.
Yep. So that's So you steal yourself. You just take the stress from sort of stealing yourself against this, and it's unpleasant. Like it's much easier to kill people when they are in a mech and fighting you than when they are,
or even just fighting you.
Yeah, when they are very clearly helplessly trying to escape from a bad situation. But yeah, 2 shots, it stops moving. As you shoot it, that orb on the exterior goes dark.
Well, I think we learned a little bit of how this thing powers itself. Some sort of symbiotic mesh with whatever this thing is. When it died, that thing went dark.
Sinner is just sort of standing back a ways with a hand over his mouth. Not like he's about to throw up, but like he doesn't want to smell. So, is it done?
Yeah, it's done.
Well, that's right upsetting.
It's certainly disgusting, if nothing else.
Mind if we close that?
Yeah, come on. She'll nod her head over towards Fury. It's quiet now. Let's leave it alone.
Yeah. She's gonna.
She'll slam the hatch back shut.
Yeah. And then. Do you? Can I have you make a roll, Shawnee?
Sure. What would you like?
This is to like, I don't know, figure out what's going on with Fury.
I'll read the situation. I have that bonus.
Yeah, that would absolutely work.
17.
Excellent. She's trying not to cry now for whatever reason.
Johnny sort of looks over at her. No, you're not anything like that thing. And no, this is no reflection on you.
She breaks down.
And she'll just sort of pull her in and pull her away from the mech and like comforting hand on shoulder.
Sinner will reach over, grab like a gas mask, put it on, and walk up. Just Shawnee, while you're comforting Fury, give me a spot check.
Spot is the one that I don't have, or at least not after character recreation. Nope.
All right.
Yeah, you're busy. It's really there's a lot of just snot.
Fury, make a spot check with a difficulty.
Sure. I have +4 to spot. What's the difficulty do?
Minus
Minus
1d6.
1d6.
Minus 1d6. Okay, so it is roll. +4. And then yeah, that's a 10.
That's 10's what you needed.
-5, so 1.
Oh, I see.
5, yeah.
So no.
Yeah. Yeah, nothing. I'm too busy.
So your total is a 5.
Yep.
Yep. Nope. You're trying. Sinner sort of climbs up onto the mech, begins sort of. He's doing a sort of a preliminary analysis of it, taking some notes. So about that time, you all feel the vessel descending towards gravity. Sort of feel that incremental increase of weight as the shuttle is coming down for a landing.
Oh, okay. Pulling herself together very rapidly. I'm gonna just roll over the 17. You can tell she's not over this yet, but trying to get enough composure to be able to walk and do things again.
Valkyrie will just offer a couple of pats on the shoulder. It'll be all right. And again, you are yourself.
Just gonna nod and go sit in her mech.
Give me a stay cool check, Mara.
Yep. +2, 6.
Yeah. So you're very much affected by this. Also, you've noticed that you've developed a bit of a shake in your hands. Just like both hands seem to be a little bit like twitchy.
Yep.
As you retreat to your Mac and try to calm down.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, you all find your places where you want to be during landing, and the ship comes down, docks into the forward operating base, and unloading begins as wreckage is pulled off the ship, and the center oversees the supervises the offloading of the assimilated mech.
And as they're getting the mech offloaded, Valkyrie sort of indicates to whoever is working on it that thing that has no less than 4 guards on it at all times.
Yeah, no, there's plenty of. It looks like Empress has assigned this high priority in multiple different vectors. So there's definitely a contingent of guards with guns ready to keep an eye on it. That gets carted off.
Some of you better have rocket launchers in case the mech itself gets back up.
It gets carted off to one of the ancillary caverns in the forward operating base to where it can be quarantined basically while it's worked on. But yeah, so you're back at base. It's time before your next mission. Now would be the time for some downtime action. So, what downtime activities are we pursuing? We'll start with Shawnee.
I think being like slightly shaken by the scenario as a whole, she's going to start undertaking some intense training just to get her focus organized, and is going to take the get focused downtime activity.
All right. Yeah, and it does look like it looks like the okay. What stress are you at, Mara?
5.
Okay, yeah, because I just saw there's a stress tracker on CompCon now, so
Yeah.
Oh, is there?
yeah, there are bonds available.
Yeah, if you
Okay.
go to the bond page, you can look at your current stress. Mine is currently set to
Got
1.
it. I don't want to navigate away from that because I'm in the one where I can see the downtime activities
Oh,
right
no,
now.
that's
But
fine. That's fine.
yeah, I'll track it. Thanks.
Worth noting, at the start of downtime, each PC clears 5 stress.
Yep, that's why I was asking.
Cool.
All right. So you are what you said you were getting focused?
I am getting focused.
All right.
Getting focused to gain something that I've already got.
So what are you doing to get focused, and what are you gaining from it?
I think she's
Are you gonna take a point in Hacker Fix?
no. We're going to keep that trend up of no one having hacker fix except Cereza. But I think she's going to I think she had this previously until I recreated her, and I just don't have it anymore because I didn't realize it. She's going to take Stay Cool, and is mostly just going to take time centering herself and like focusing and practicing various different techniques to try and focus herself down.
You find an isolated section of the forward operating base and do some mental training there. Mara, what are you doing for your downtime action?
I'm gonna get creative. I had a half-finished project, if I remember correctly. I was trying to do something with a radio, I think.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Yeah.
Are you installing it? Is it on your character sheet? Because when you hit get creative on your character sheet, it'll take you to your list of projects.
Well, it has me start a new one. I don't know. My guess is that project got deleted in one of the CompCon refreshes. Let me see if I can find that in my notes where it was. But it was basically I was trying to make like a radio for inside my mech so I could do more loud music situations, I think.
Or was it that you were trying to make a radio for outside your mech so you could broadcast your music outside as you were going?
That was it. Yeah. It. Yep. Yeah.
Trying to make a sound system.
Yes. And I had gotten it half finished.
All right, so go ahead and make a roll.
Okay.
Or is it just? Oh, sorry. No, you finished it. You got it half finished, which means that you just need to do it again to finish it, right? Yeah.
Yep.
So yeah. So yeah, you.
I would actually, if I can.
Yeah, sure.
Kind of having seen the way these things operate and like what we have faced, don't know if you would let me do this, but change it so that we can try and interrupt whatever kind of infiltrating things this stuff had. I don't imagine I would be able to like stop it entirely, but be able to like make that blip slightly with very loud music.
Get creative. Get creative doesn't let you make anything as impactful as mech equipment, unfortunately.
Okay.
But you basically get to make some pilot gear. So we'll say that this is just going to be. This will just be.
I have a boombox.
A sound system, but instead of it being internal, it's external now.
Yeah, I have a sound system just because I can do this at someone.
Or we'll say it's a permanent sound system that's both internal and external, so you don't have to have it in your pilot gear. It's just something that's attached to your mech now.
Perfect. Yep, that's what I do.
Your mech now has a giant boombox that it can hold over its head.
Yeah, it's just attached to it, like in the in Jackbox games, there's one where it's like where you're playing battling mechs,
Ah, yep,
Mm.
Memphis City.
and one of them is just a giant cassette player. It's like in the chest cavity of your mech now. It's just a giant cassette.
Yes,
player.
I love that. Yeah, exactly. The Fury's working on that.
You're working on the mech-sized cassettes now, so you can just change the
Yeah.
music.
Your mix tapes, if you will.
Yes.
Ah!
Andrew, what are you doing in your downtime?
I appreciate it.
I am not sure which downtime action this is, but I have a specific reserve in mind that I would like to try to acquire.
Okay. What's the reserve?
Bombardment.
Okay.
Bombardment.
The ability to call in artillery or orbital bombardment once during mech combat as a full action.
So that's going to be a get connected check.
Okay.
So what would a relevant skill check that you think you might have to add to your d20 roll?
Oh, right. There's an ambush reserve now. I can just add that instead of my intel.
Yeah.
Well, I had the thought that since my mech has a linked orbital satellite to it, I could just modify that satellite. But if I have to go out and get the resources, I could get somewhere quickly.
Get somewhere quickly. So that's not going to be necessarily relevant for getting connected in this case, because what you're going to be doing is for either you're going to be convincing somebody to modify your orbital your orbital satellite so that it can be utilized for that sort of bombardment feature, or you're going to be getting somebody who has access to additional artillery to be providing that cover. So it's you're making friends with someone else in the Demon Corps that's going to be able to do that for you, basically.
Mm-hmm.
So it could be
that
any sort of a
case,
social skill trigger that you might have.
One sec, let me just look at something.
Well, you're doing that. I have an important. I had 4 stress before, so I actually am I got over my stress limit with all of that.
Really, you should have your stress limit should be 8, shouldn't it?
Yeah, I was at 4 of
5.
8.
Oh, you were at 4 previously.
Yes.
Okay, so
yeah,
you're...
so you
that
broke.
does, yeah.
You broke, which makes sense. All right. We'll get to that in a minute.
I was like, oh shit, that's not good.
What's your list of bonds for Phoenix?
She has momentum from the Pathfinder.
Oh yeah. Oh right, no, sorry, your bonds. What's your list of triggers? I meant to say.
Oh right, yeah. I have get somewhere quickly, spot, stay cool, survive, take control, and take someone out. So
take control actually
take control.
sounds.
Yeah, take control would be perfect.
All right. $18.
Hey.
18.
Nice.
18.
Like you're getting me access to artillery.
Right.
Yeah,
so
pretty much.
So on a 10 to 19, so there's an 18, your contact will help you, but you've got to do a favor and make good on a promise afterwards. If you don't follow through, treat this as a 9 or less next time you get it for the same organization. So you speak with one of the artillery specialists in the Demon Corps, call sign Odin, who does basically he is familiar with orbital bombardment systems and can actually jury rig your launch satellite Because you launch it every time you go into battle, so it has to return to you, right? So you should have it on
Yep.
your Mac. Yeah.
Yep.
Who
It comes back to me after
yeah,
the.
he can basically fiddle with your satellite in order to overcharge it so that it can do one mid mission like full scale bombardment, as a called artillery strike, and basically he's you promise him a favor. And he says that I'll go ahead and get this done for you. Basically, after the next mission, he'll have a task for you then to do.
Okay. Yep.
Even if you don't like, and so you'll have that reserve until you use it. He says it's only good for one. But you can, even if you don't use it next mission, he'll still have something for you to do after this next one.
Yep. Makes sense.
All right. So yeah, call sign Odin will start adjusting your satellite to make that work. So go ahead and
Very
add
good.
bombardment, a bombardment reserve
Bombardment.
Done.
to your list of reserves. Okay, so Fury, you
Yes.
broke, which means that you now have a burden.
Another one.
Oh, did you already have one?
Yeah, I had one. I had the incident from when I took 2 walks during the when we were trying to get the creative cool stuff from the
Right, I remember that one.
So actually, question then: would you rather work on healing that burden that you already had instead of working on your boombox?
Nah.
All right,
I already
cool.
said it.
Second burden.
Let's try and repress that for a while. That'll be more fun.
All right. So, page 88.
Does my stress roll over because I had over 8? Do I have like 1 now? Or does it just reset?
It clears when you break.
Perfect.
All right, so you have another minor burden on your bond sheet, so you should have 2 minor burdens.
Correct.
Correction. You can take a second minor burden, or you can choose to take a major burden.
Oh.
Yeah.
When a PC makes a skill check, their player can invoke a relevant burden to gain +1 difficulty on the roll. But players who do this at least once during a session get an extra XP.
Yep.
Okay.
And you heal burden at the start of downtime. You get a special free downtime action, heal burdens.
Okay.
So you can actually do this regardless. In addition to anything. Each player chooses a method for healing and then rolls a skill check, filling 1 to 3 segments on the burden of their choice, depending on the result.
Got it.
So what was your previous burden?
My previous version was the incident. It had 4.
The incident. With 4 segments.
Yeah.
All right. This one is going to be affected.
Okay.
AFFECTED.
Yep. And how many segments does it have?
That's gonna have. Well, do you want it to be a minor burden or a major burden?
Let's do if I do a major, they combine, right?
No, it's a separate.
No.
Thing. You can have
Oh.
You can have up to 3 burdens, 2 minor, 1 major. Major has more segments, I believe.
Got it. I feel like that one's major for her. So yes.
Okay, so you're gonna have a major burden. So this is gonna be 8 segments.
8. Okay.
Sorry. 10 segments.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry. It goes 4, 6, 10.
Got it.
So the 2 minors are 4 and 6, and the next one after that is 10.
What page is the burden clock count on?
It is. They show up on your character sheet when you add a burden. let's see.
All right, cool. I've got those both added. And then automatically I get to try and get reduce the other burden.
You automatically get to try to. So how are you going to try to reduce the first burden?
I think it's because it was about going off alone and just sort of like murdering people. I think it's she's going around and asking people what their favorite music is so she can make sure she gets a nice playlist for this boombox.
Okay.
So that it is going to like improve morale on the ship. She's like thinking about other people. Okay. And that type of thing.
What do you think? What sort of skill do you think that's going to be for rolling?
It's probably some sort of social skill, which she doesn't have any of those. She's got like sneaking around and being tactical. So it is just a d20 roll.
All right, go ahead and give me a d20 roll.
Okay. 19.
With 19, I think you heal 2.
Sweet.
So you get 2 sections of the clock filled.
Perfect. How do I?
Yeah, 10 to 1 to 9 fills 1 segment, 10 to 19 fills 2, and 20 plus fills 3.
Awesome. Okay, I am halfway there on that one.
All right, and you've got the affected burden.
Yes, and I assume I don't do anything with that one.
No, you don't get to, because you just got it. You don't technically that one doesn't come in until the next narrative scene.
Got it.
After your downtime actions. So Phoenix has chatted with, found this connection, made this connection with Odin, who's going to modify their thing. Valkyrie went and did some self-reflection, and Fury built a boombox and talked to some folks. The three of you meet back up at some point before having not yet been briefed on the results of the analysis of the assimilated mech. Is there anything that y'all would like to do or talk about before you get called into another briefing?
Thanks, Shawnee.
Sorry, did you say thanks?
Yeah.
Valkyrie was going to talk to Fury anyway, so.
Okay.
How are you holding up?
You probably come and talk to her while she's working on the boombox, which is a long process. There's a lot of unnecessary tinkering. She wants to make it look cool. She's got like some nice like lights on the inside, so it'll like light up and do the thing where it like the 90 like the Windows 95 screensaver where you could get it to like
where it strobes the lights to the beat.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes. But she kind of stops as you do that. She's not really looking at you. I'm all right, but that was not something I ever want to see again.
I can't blame you in the slightest. I don't think any of us would ever want to. I don't think any of us would ever want to look at that in the first place, let alone twice.
It just brought up a lot of, I don't know, stuff.
Anything you feel like sharing?
You were, gene enhanced soldier, etc., etc., etc. Same kind of thing, right?
Sort of. The gene rights of Umbra Draconis are well, unforgiving and very thorough in their modifications. I was basically tailored from the ground up to be what I am.
I had a life before this.
I can't really say I know what that's like, but what kind of life?
Not a great one. I lived on a space station and I murdered someone and was supposed to get sent to a penal colony. But then they offered me a different choice and I took it.
And that entailed getting enhanced and signed up for military work, I'm assuming?
Yep. And I don't know where any of my other I don't know where all those people are. And I think about them sometimes.
Your unit or the people you knew before that?
The unit. We were like close.
Mm-hmm. When Umbra Draconis fell apart, I still don't know why or how. We just stopped hearing from the home world and the other fleets one day and started to drift. I brought everyone with me to the Demon Corps that would follow me, but they weren't the soldiers I had fought alongside the most. They are still out there somewhere. My former commanding officer, my squad mates are still out there somewhere. I don't know where they are, if I'll ever see them again. But the soldiers I brought with me, they're all draconians in one way or another. They're all dragon raiders. But nothing ever really replaces a bond with a particular friend.
Mm.
Is there anyone in particular you think about?
Yeah. Our program sort of was more on the like replacing things with, better equipment. She indicates some of the like ports and stuff that she has like talked a little bit about like replacing or like removing things she doesn't have. She is like taken out a lot of her augmetic kind of parts. And I worry that they might have ended up like that. And sometimes if I'm too if I can ever be a normal person after what we all did.
You have at least a concept of normalcy, something that you, even if you can't get all the way back there, something you can strive for.
The music helps.
Good. Listen to it whenever you can. It's good to have something that you can strive for, even if it's something as mysterious as normal. and maybe you'll find it someday. I know that the thing that I'm striving for is to help make a world where other people don't have to fight. So I take those fights for them.
It's a good goal.
It's something that I picked for myself, finally. I was, like I said, I was built from the ground up for a purpose. Everything about me, my genetics, a lot of my behavior patterns, just about everything. My hair color was selected to stand out because I was designated for leadership. Even my romantic and sexual preferences were designed into me so that I would be more susceptible to following the orders of my designated commander.
That's fucked up.
So, in the aftermath of everything that I was made for, I wanted to pick something for myself. So, I picked a goal. And that goal was to help the Union create that ideal world they're striving for. Even if I have to take on the battles that other people shouldn't.
Yep. My goal now is to put a stop to that whole fucking thing.
It's a good one. And I think we'll get the chance.
Yep. Let's see if there's a briefing.
Yeah.
Something should say they must have found something. All those scientists will stand up.
Anything you wanted to talk to, do anything like that before we move on?
As Shani and Fury make their way out of the workshop where Fury's been building the boombox, they find Phoenix just leaning up against the door frame outside. And it's abundantly clear that she heard all of that.
Listening in, were you?
Well, I can hardly leave you two alone on your own terms, can I?
Yeah, just a couple of super soldiers having a conversation about our fucked up raising.
Well, fucked up or no, you would make a good Knight of the Rose, Shani.
Phoenix, make a spot check for me.
Yep.
Please roll good. We've had so many of them that have failed.
That's a 9.
So close!
Would you like to take a point of stress to push it?
Sure.
Do it. Do it.
So do I roll with the accuracy? Do I just roll a d6 for accuracy, or I'll wait?
Yeah,
No, I
you
had
just
to.
roll a d6 with accuracy.
Okay.
For accuracy.
There we go.
Okay. As you're looking over them and talking, you notice Fury doesn't seem to realize that her hands are twitching, but there's just like a twitch, an occasional twitch happening in both hands, not at the same time.
All right.
That just catches your eye.
Yep. Where was I?
Knight of the Rose.
Right. Yes. Okay. So, yeah, she just nods and says, one of the core tenets of our creed is that we take up a sword or a gun so that others don't have to. We fight for causes we think are just and for the common folk. Sounds to me like it's up your alley.
Certainly does. I'll have to ask you more about it sometime in the future.
Mm-hmm. Aye, indeed. Well, I'd best not keep us if there's any updates from Empress or any of the techs that have been working on that thing.
Yes, let's hope they've figured something out and not just gotten themselves infected. Let's go.
Indeed. And Helena, when you
Yeah?
get a chance, see a doctor about your hands.
Hmm? Oh, it's fine.
I don't know, you didn't have that twitch before. Ultimately, it's up to you, but I would recommend it all the same.
A few minutes later, the three of you get a call from, or the four of you technically. Rudy or Umbra also gets a call. And you meet in the war room. Empress is there with a few researchers and some folks that have been working on things. Well, she says to the group of you, good work. We've determined that the technology used here is technology. First of all, this is not a naturally occurring thing. This seems to be some sort of biological weapon, something akin to a. She thinks for a second. It seems to be the biological equivalent of an artificial intelligence with a 3D printing protocol, though the printing aspect of it is organic in nature. Effectively, it's a cloning algorithm gone wrong, or in this case, right. It seems that this was we're not sure of the origins of it, but we have noticed some traces that have been pointing us towards Horus, at least as far as coding is concerned.
That's unsurprising. Horus is widespread and decentralized. You can find Horus code in just about anything fucked up.
Yes,
Yeah.
though, notably, there's not a lot of Horus code on planet. So, the Horus Collective doesn't do much here in Hisinia. To that end, we're going to be sending the four of you off-world. The conflict is at a
Where?
point. The conflict is at a manageable point for the rest of our forces. We don't need lancers for every mission here. So, I'm going to be sending you to a research satellite. Your objective is going to be to infiltrate and retrieve, however you see best, a Horus database. The satellite in question is a Horus satellite, so you will have to deal with anyone who is on board. But it is currently under the employ of one of the other major civilizations in the sector, in the system here. The satellite orbits the planet. Hang on, 1 second. There's a further out along the habitable, towards the end of the habitable belt of this system. There's a planet called Sanus, Sanus. Orbiting Sanus is a Horus research satellite. We've detected some similarities in the code being produced there to the genetic sequencing that we found amongst the Assimilated. Your objective is to infiltrate the satellite however you can, retrieve any databases that you find that might be relevant to this coding, and bring it back.
Do we have any information on the scale of this satellite? Are we talking mech scale operations or individual?
Starship scale. They've been producing battleships as well as mechs for anyone who pays, particularly the planetary government of Sanus.
So we will be able to take mechs in then.
It is mobile. The satellite itself seems to move, and it does have a blink drive. So be careful in case they decide to take it with them. You will have access to the Vanguard, as well as, again, any members of the Corps that you deem worthy, as far as accompanying you, or that you would just like to have along. For this mission, I would say you can take 4 members of the Corps. So, aside from obviously Hauler, who is your pilot.
Right.
So make your choices. And
We have that list of members
we'll
again.
get in a minute. Make your choices, and you are scheduled to leave tomorrow morning.
Understood.
What was that?
Understood.
Good luck. And try not to die while you're out there. And with that, we're going to take a quick break. So if you're watching live, remember when we take our break, you take your break. So stand up, stretch your legs, move around, do whatever you need to do. And we'll be back in just a few minutes. we're back.
Dinosaur story.
And so the Lancers have been given the instructions to go and basically infiltrate and gather information, steal information from a horse satellite on a planet at the outer edge of the habitable belt of the system. You've picked your crew for the mission. If you could go ahead and tell me who those were again.
The Fire Gaze twins, Sinner, and the
Deadeye.
Deadeye.
Okay. I don't know that I have minis for the Fire Gaze twins yet, so all right, so you've got
I believe he posted the entire crew's minis at one point, but
I may have their like I posted the entire like former crew, not the entirety of the Dragon Raiders though. I've got minis for everyone of the core crew. I don't have minis for all the Dragon Raiders. Because they came with you, and I didn't have time to put them together beforehand, and then I have ADHD. But let's see. Deadeye is a blue Oni. So Deadeye I have token for at least. There you go. All right. So yeah. You all board the Vanguard, and after a few pre-flight checks, it takes off, and y'all are heading out. Haller lets you know that you're traveling at sublight speeds, so they are going to be basically, it's gonna be a couple of days before you get there. They've got you have been given a copy of all the findings, the more specific findings of the research crew looking into the assimilated mech. You do not have the assimilated mech on board anymore. And you do have your 3D printers where you can begin creating and modifying your new mechs for the upcoming bit. So, you have 3 days with which to muck around in the ship and plan. What's everyone doing?
Valkyrie's going to print her new mech, the Hjorthrimel, and is going to test it because it's a half-size mech, so she's going to like put it on, walk around, get a feel for the interface.
Is that half in terms of height, width, just everywhere?
It's size 1/2, which means it is a human-sized mech. She is not much bigger than she is normally while inside.
That's disturbing.
Yeah, half-size mechs. For anyone who remembers the game Anthem, the short-lived game Anthem, half-size mechs are the size of the Anthem suits.
I never played Anthem.
It was honestly, like, the suit idea was nice. It was just the fact that they got horribly ruined in their dev cycle.
The concept was great. The design of the suits were great. The gameplay suffered dramatically, and the game was not finished.
Yeah, half-size mechs are the size of the Anthem suits, or for those who play Warframe, the Warframes.
Nope. This just seems too small. Like, you're gonna get squashed.
Yeah, they are basically power suits. It's the thing that you see Empress in most of the time, because Empress also has an Atlas, and that's her. That's her. I'm going to cut you in half with my sword suit.
She has not acquired a Terashima blade yet, so her current loadout is a tactical melee weapon, a charged blade, and an assault rifle.
I print a new mech. I'm not going to tell you about it because I don't know.
Yeah, because I have the my first core bonus was the if you have less than 3 slots, get a flex slot.
Right.
Because that's useful for both the Valor and the Atlas.
I have just taken that core bonus myself.
Because all the mechs that I like only have 2 weapon slots, so I'll take a third on all of them.
Fair. Yeah, all Sinner's priest is half sized. So like you've been working with a half sized mech most missions. Just he's always behind you. So
I think I'm going to print an Orcus, so it's much tankier looking. Basically.
Yeah, the Atlas standing inside the Atlas, Valkyrie's only like a foot taller than she normally is. Which, to be fair, she's pretty tall normally, but
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Phoenix is the shortest of all of us.
she goes from
Being-
6'6" to 7'6".
Being, ordinarily a civilian before she became a Lancer.
so an Orcus is a variant on the Black Witch, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Did you actually take
Yes.
the Orcus license?
Yes. I mean it's letting me select that as a frame option. So
I don't know. Did they change the way licenses work for the bonus models?
For
Or is
the
it just
variants,
weirdly broken?
you pick either, in this case, the Black Witch or the Orcus when you take
Your
Black Witch
second
level 2.
license. Yeah, when you take your second
Yep.
license level.
but I
And
have
you can
3 license levels in Black Witch.
Yeah.
That would get you the license level 3 stuff. It wouldn't get you the variant frame.
You
However, I believe you could, when you level up, swap from the regular frame to the variant frame.
Yeah,
Huh.
that was what I was just gonna say.
Okay.
Whenever you level, you can switch between your the standard and the variant freely. I'm fairly
Well,
certain.
interesting. It's giving me that the option to make this.
Is it giving you the option to make the Black Witch as well?
Yes.
Did you grab both? Like if you look at your licenses, did you grab both of them?
Hang on, let me look and see. I don't know.
It also made us give you that option because it doesn't want to restrict you on that too heavily, and just going to trust that you know what you're doing on it.
And also,
well, I
just
don't
is
know
not
what I'm
perfect
doing,
system.
so that was incorrect of them. No, I just have a Black Witch frame.
Yeah, because the license that gives you the Orcus frame also gives you other things.
It includes, when I look at the licenses, Black Witch includes the Orcus frame.
Yeah, the rank 2 on Black Witch frame currently, rank 2 on Black Witch currently includes both the Black Witch frame and the Orcus
Yep.
frame.
Does it also include the things that you get from the Orcus? I guess
Hang on a minute.
actually you don't get anything else other than that from the Orcus, do you?
Hang on a minute. The Orcus frame is from Karrakin Trade Baronies. 1 second.
It gives me some different core systems. Hunting Eagle and Hellion.
Yep, that's because the Orcus has its own stuff.
Yep.
Yep. Yeah, no, it doesn't have anything other than the frame though. So yeah, it's just the
so
yep.
The 2 are mutually exclusive. So you can choose between the 2 of them whenever you gain a license level, and you can choose to swap that. But they are mutually exclusive. It just gives you both because there's nothing else to give you.
Right. So you when you get that second level, you pick either the Black Witch or the Orcus. I'm assuming you're taking the Orcus.
No, I'll take Black Witch still. Okay. I like that one better.
I'm more familiar with it. You can't choose every time you get a license level.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, Orcus
if you want to take the Orcus for now, when you hit license level 4, you could switch back to the Black Witch if you wanted.
Perfect Parry, Guardian, Royal Guard. Weren't you taking the white? Oh no.
No, yeah, they took level 1 of White Witch.
Yes.
Just
White Witch. That was it.
Yes. Yep. Yeah. No, I'll stick with Black Witch. I like that frame. It's been working.
Oh, so you're just going both witches, I see.
Yes, I'm going on a theme. So I don't have the White Witch frame yet.
Okay.
Yeah, the Hjorthrim has 2 swords on it because I don't have a Terashima blade. Honestly, it'll probably have 2 swords even when I do get a Terashima blade.
Yeah. No, I like running a very glass cannony. sort of mech, so Black Witch is fun. Anyway.
Which is why you're taking the White Witch, which is the tankiest of tanks.
Oh no, that one's different. I mean, I don't have a lot of tank yet. I can do a pinning spire. That's going to be fun. Anyways,
so,
I print another mech.
So yeah, you're working on your mechs.
This one is sort of a neon orange color.
I look forward to seeing it.
You're welcome. Yep.
Or making it, depending.
You're going to have to make it. I don't know how that thing works.
No worries. Are you doing anything other than working on your mechs?
Valkyrie will sort of eventually, once everyone has their mechs printed, we'll sort of gather up everyone to try and discuss strategy on how the hell we're going to approach this mission.
Yeah.
So yeah, you got in the war room. Deadeye will actually pull up schematics for the satellite. You can see that the satellite is it is a spire with several it's a spire with 4 axial rotating like sections on it. So big one central pillar, then connected on 4 rotating basically wheels going up it. 1 at the bottom, 1 at the top, and then 2 in the middle at equidistant from basically the other 2 that are on either side of it. It's a fairly tall vessel. There are engines dotting the entirety of the pole, basically. And it looks like from the initial reads of the schematics, from what Deadeye can tell, it looks like that when it travels, the rings detach and form wings, and so it sort of like so none of them are in the way of the engines. So it seems like the rings themselves are like collapsible and adjustable and modifiable in that manner. So with that knowledge, it seems that the rings are largely research and sensory data, whereas the actual core, like database, living structure, all the centralized systems and requirements are on the central pillar of the satellite. It seems like when in motion, the floor is the back, and when stationary, it's a low gravity environment.
Presumably what we're looking for is in that core.
Yep. Sounds about right.
Somewhere along the core pillar, most likely, yes.
Yeah. The other problem, though, is that with all of those separate engines along the core, I don't know if we'll be able to take it out. We had talked about.
We might not be able to stop it from moving, but typically speaking, even a station of this size will only have a single blink drive. We just have to find out where it is.
Deadeye indicates when we get closer, we might be able to tell better. But honestly, if we want to stop it from moving, we just need to take out the wherever the pilot would operate from, the piloting controls. This thing, they might be able to circumvent it after a while. They are Horus, but even a Horus satellite is going to have a centralized control mechanism. We at least slow them down by taking control of that.
Can we figure out where that is most likely to be?
Once we're closer and we have scanners, probably. But if we go in scanning, they're probably going to detect us a lot quicker. If I were to take a guess, I'd say either in the middle or the top.
Yeah, but what's top on this thing?
Which side? Would you say which side's top?
Yeah, I say what's top on this thing.
Well, is it like a Christmas tree?
It's like a rod, but one end does taper to a point like a spike.
But is it a stake or a tower? Is the spike the bottom or the top?
He says based on preliminary data and considering how the wording sort of points, and you can see like up the side of it, it says on one side it says Horus, and then on the other side it says we are the nail in the palm of the lamb.
So I'm gonna guess that the pointy side is down then.
Based on that, I'm going to assume the point is down.
I wonder how literal they are about that.
I don't know how literal Horus folk are about anything. They named a satellite "We are the nail in the palm of the lamb."
Yeah.
It's really just a mouthful.
Also, I mean, to be fair, you haven't heard the pilot of a fucking. I try and remember the name of it. You haven't heard the pilot of a Manticore talking about castigating the enemies of the Godhead.
No.
Based on that description, I'm not sure I want to.
Sinner just sort of shrugs.
Had to get out of the way of one of
impressive.
those.
They
Get
go up like
in
a
my face
firecracker.
once.
As long as it does that, I'll be happy. So my kind of initial thought then is trying to aim for where we think probable pilot is, take that out fast, and then we can take our time looking for this.
The main databases.
Yeah.
Pilot operations might also have a readout of the rest of the station where we can find other important things like main data storage and the blink drive.
I will say, Deadeye says, we'll need to also be careful. There's no telling what sorts of defenses they're going to have yet until we're actually closer. Expect at least one Lancer. There are very few Horus outposts that don't have at least one Lancer on defense.
And they do nasty things.
Yeah. I mean, the satellite itself is going to have a plethora of hackers that are going to be all too willing to fuck with your mechs. What the Lancer does could be anyone's guess. Probably, if they have a lot of detail in there that they don't want to lose, probably not going to be a mana core. But anything else could be on the table.
I mean, it's a science facility. My money's probably on something equally science oriented. Possibly a goblin, which should be a real pain in the ass.
Goblin or a Hydra, maybe.
Yeah.
At least are we sure that we're not going to run into more assimilated on here?
This is researching something very similar to them, so we may or may not.
Well, the code that they found was similar to code that this station has worked on.
Yeah.
No telling if that means that there's the assimilated there or not.
They don't seem like they would play nice with a lot of fancy computers around. I'm just going off of that and saying hopefully not. But if so, then that might change approaches.
Yeah, the assimilated seemed like a mech scale virus. It would seem poor practice to have that break containment on a vessel like this.
Unwise. Yeah. Let's see.
So at the moment, your plan is figure out where the piloting section is. Insert there, take over as much as you can, and while they're trying to regain control of the satellite, blast your way up or down.
Yeah.
Essentially.
Sounds about right.
All right.
I think we've taken the right team for this.
Deadeye's still looking at it. So in that case, we might want to split in two. If we want to be certain that we're going to get what we're looking for, we should probably send half our forces to the top and half to the middle. Strike at two. Insert at 2 points. That does mean that one group is going to run into is more likely to run into their lancer with less than full power, but we're more likely to actually find what we're looking for first.
What's the scale of this? What do we have? Do we have any idea of the scale of this vessel?
In human terms, it looks like it's about 100 floors from top to bottom, though the bottom seems like it's mostly storage, from what I can gather. So viable 70 floors. Not all of them are going to be mech scale. The mech scale floors are going to be. He points out a few places where there are obvious like hangar bays on the side opposite the engines. Mech scale is going to be probably about 15 floors that the mechs could fit in. One that's sized for ships, says pointing to the larger of the hangars, and then the rest on foot or half size.
So Valkyrie sort of reaches out to sort of indicate to some of the levels, sort of misjudging the distance because her arms are longer inside the Hjorthrimel, so she sort of like extends out into the hologram for a second. She has to pull back. She's still getting used to it. These central levels where there are potential ship docks are likely to be extremely heavily guarded, as that's where they would typically expect insertions to be from.
Sorry, I missed that. What was it?
I said these central levels where there are space docks where potentially ships can land are probably going to be the most heavily guarded because that's where they would expect typical insertion attempts to be coming from.
Yeah. So higher likelihood that the Lancer is going to be down there.
Yeah.
How long do we think that that it'll take for the two teams to link up once we've deployed? As far as traversing the distance.
Depends on resistance felt. It's a hard. If it was anyone else, I could give you a more generally accurate readout, but
yeah, this is Horus. It's not easy to estimate even how difficult it's going to be just to traverse the inside.
Right.
For all we know, we could be getting vastly different results of our scans.
Yeah, but that's the trick. Do we want to do long-range scans when we're in range?
They will definitely.
That can give us more information.
But they are Horus. They will absolutely have a counter scan and will find us.
If we try to interface with them at all before we're ready, they'll know. Unless any of you are expert hackers that can counter hack Horus techs.
Looks at Rudy. The only...
Umbra just shakes her head.
Yeah, that was my only. Fury is not. No, incorrect. No idea.
The Sigrun has some advanced hacking systems, but I don't think it's going to be anything up to the par of like a Goblin or any other Horus high tech.
I can't match them on that, but what I can do is I can lock down some of their systems. I'll make sure my mech has that capability. That should help.
All right.
All right.
So we mostly just need to figure out what our detachments are going to look like.
Yes, who goes where?
The one deploying to the center is probably deploying into higher danger.
I agree. That's most likely where the Lancer is going to be.
Then that should be the four of us.
Should it be the four of us, or should we split ourselves 2 and 2?
Sinner thinks about it for a minute. If that's what you're expecting the Lancer to be, None of us are going to be able to go toe to toe to them. So the four of you would be, and when he says us, he's indicating the other four, the four non-Lance pilots.
Mm-hmm.
We can probably get in quieter if y'all are making a ruckus.
The only thing is
that would be helpful.
The only thing is that's a coin flip.
Yeah.
There's every chance that we're wrong. The cockpit is at the helm, is at the head of this nail, and also the lancer is, and we just drop 4 non-lancers into their hands.
Well, if we figure the lance is most likely around where they're expecting company, like as a threat or something, I guess it depends on what kind of lance it is. Like if it's a goblin, who knows where it is. If it's a bigger one, then I would agree with the assessment that it's probably going to be around the ship dock.
Yeah. And if it's a goblin, even your mechs will be a threat to it if you get in close proximity to it.
Well, and also, regardless of where it starts, if y'all hit first,
it'll move. Yeah,
it'll move towards you.
Yeah,
and
That
I
Deadeye,
makes a lot
like
of
that.
sense.
Having
Deadeye
They'll
can get
want to-
us. Deadeye can get us in wherever we try to insert.
all right. That sounds like a solid plan.
I am for this.
Lancer team will insert in the center mass, and backup team will insert at the head of the nail.
start making some noise.
So in that
Oh,
case,
I can make some noise, all right.
Yeah. So in that case, Deadeye says, we'll 3D print a mech skiff that we can attach the other 4 mechs to, and launch as the Vanguard's making the approach. We'll do a ghost launch from the top, and just head over and come in at the top of the nail and start making our way down. Well, we will wait until we can see that the Vanguard has docked. Or or y'all have connected in if you don't want the Vanguard to dock.
Docking the Vanguard means that's our escape route, but then it is able to be infiltrated or taken over.
We may want to do a fast insert with Holler flying us by. If any of you haven't already, it'll be a good idea to outfit your mechs with EVA modules anyway. Even if whether we insert normally or otherwise, it'll be a good idea because we're going to be fighting in space regardless.
Indeed. Yeah. You mentioned it was a low gravity environment, so
yeah,
it would make sense to be mobile.
Holler comes in over the comms, having been listening in. If I do a hot drop, it's going to be a lot harder to get y'all back out if the satellite moves. It's going to be hard to get y'all back out regardless because this is not a ground.
How are the defenses on the Vanguard? Do you think you can hold up under potential attack?
I mean, I can seal the doors and shut everything off so that there's no computer for them to connect into. That does mean I'll be a sitting duck here with my mech, but as long as y'all keep their attention. You can't hack into computers that are off, but you can physically hack through a door if you got the time.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll need to keep their attention if we do that.
I mean, we can approach however y'all want, but it will be harder to get you back out if I'm not docked.
I think we're probably going to want a quick exit. I think our
mechanically exfil will take a while.
Yeah.
if the Vanguard isn't attached to the space station.
Yeah.
And if the enemy manages to succeed their goal of blink jumping away, then you won't be able to exfil.
Yeah.
We will have to take the entire vessel.
Right.
Oh boy. Yeah, that sounds like a bad plan. We can our the faster we can get in and find what we're looking for and get away, the better.
Yeah, so we'll go in for a full drop with the Vanguard docking, and we'll try and be in and out before any threat can be made against it.
Holler again. We can say that we're coming. We can tell them we're coming in for repairs and checkups. When they get us on their sensors, if we want to dock, at least that way they won't shoot us. They won't start shooting at us until we're inside.
I'm in favor of that.
Probably worthwhile.
That would make sense.
We do have at least a couple of Horus licenses amongst us.
Yep. And so I'll tell them that we're coming in peaceably, and then let y'all know once we're connected. So, Deadeye then follows back up with, all right, so we'll launch early. Y'all will go in, dock. Once we see you're inside, we'll kick the door open up top. So come out shooting, I guess.
Access is yours as long as you can keep it. It's Horus motto.
Guess we may have to take that literally.
How do we know how we're going to identify this database?
We're probably going to have to find the pilot and their schematics of the base.
What if that does not exist?
There will be base schematics somewhere. There has to be somewhere where they have information on operations and the functionality of the places in this vessel.
But they may wipe it before we can get to it.
Yes.
Database is going to be something that's filled with experimental code, I'm assuming. If this was a known product, then we'd know about it. Then it would be something we could find elsewhere. If there's a specialty code, it's going to be in whatever their experiment wing database, something along those lines is going to be.
And knowing Horus, that's going to be defended at all costs.
Yeah. And do we know enough about what it looks like to be able to identify it amongst a bunch of Horus?
You've got a code sample.
Okay, good.
Yeah, you've got a code sample to compare to. You just have to plug into a database.
And okay.
Mechanically, it'll take a full round to scan
scan a database, basically.
To scan a database and check it against the sample code you've got.
Yeah.
If you've got an AI, or if you've got
I have a CompCon on mine, yeah.
If you've not a CompCon, if you've got a full
NHP.
NHP. If you've got an NHP, it can do it while you're doing other things, as long as you're connected. The CompCon wouldn't be able to take that process. Too much thinking that has to be done for a CompCon to do it.
Can any of us do that specific part, the like scanning or reading or looking through?
Any of you can do it. Can take the action to scan a database. But and it's a full action basically.
Gotcha.
An NHP can do that. Basically, an NHP can makes it a quick action.
Mm-hmm. Characters does not have an NHP.
Nor do I.
Nope.
None of you have NHPs.
Nope.
I just have a regular AI.
I don't know what Umbra has, if anything, but
I don't think they have one.
Does the Balor give you an NHP?
Nope.
There's a specific like pilot thing you can take for it.
Yeah, there is a talent. The Technophile, I think.
Yep.
Yeah.
Technophile gives one, but I don't think any of us have it.
No.
Yeah, the Balor is the only one that really doesn't give much in the way of like advanced tech. It's mostly just nanomachines, son.
Which is cool, but not helpful with this specifically.
Amusingly, I think only the Pegasus and the Lich actually have an NHP of the Horus licenses.
Goblin, Gorgon, Pegasus, Lich, and Ifrit if you have that.
Oh, Goblin has the Osiris. Oh yeah. Oh, and the Solar Class, yeah.
All right. Anything else that y'all have to discuss in regards to this?
NHPs are a rare thing, even among Horus.
Some that didn't come through the mic.
Anything else that y'all have to discuss?
Rendezvous.
Yeah, we'll probably need to figure out exactly with the vessel being as much of an unknown as it is, we're probably going to have to figure out exactly what our plans are for meeting up once we've seen what the inside looks like. But we should probably make it a priority that once we've identified our locations, we should try and get some kind of communication up to figure out how to link up.
Would that make us more visible to them, though?
Probably, but I think at a certain point we'll have their attention anyway.
I wouldn't be surprised if they manage to tap our communications as soon as we get within range.
So we'll probably want to do that only once we've got a solid idea of where we're going.
Yep.
No frivolous communications, but it is going to be improvisational on the inside because we don't know what we're going up against.
And from my understanding of how a horse operates, they can adapt. So being able to switch.
That's what they're good at.
Yeah, adaptation is the big thing with Horus. So whatever we do, they're going to start working on ways around it. So
we're going to have to adapt as well.
Indeed, this isn't going to be easy, but it's got to get done.
Yep.
All right.
Speed and shock are our primary advantages on this mission. So let's take full advantage of them. The longer this drags out, the worse our situation is going to get.
Agreed.
All right. I think we've planned as well as we can around a bunch of unknowns. So,
all right. So you've got a few days. Make your adjustments. Under the guise of I made a secret roll here for Holler, and under the guise of saying that you're coming in for repairs, Holler was able to make a quick scan of the facility.
Sweet.
You're able to determine that the seems like some of your guesses were correct. The piloting, so the cockpit command area is in the top of the nail. You are able to determine that there are 2 Lancers on board.
Oh.
There is a There is a Hydra whose title is coming in at whose call sign is coming in. You get the call sign of the pilot is Karma, and the title of the Hydra is Non-Proliferation Disagreement.
Love Forest mech names.
And let's see here. Sorry, I'm just really quickly rolling up the second lance.
Excuse me.
Pardon?
I burped. It's okay.
Good to know. And the second one is piloted by a call sign Ivory. Who is piloting a Gorgon.
You have a Hydra and a Gorgon. Okay.
What are those again?
Gorgon is Reaction City.
Okay.
Is very good at stunning enemy mechs and is able to make multiple reactions.
Hydra's big on drones, as I understand it.
The Gorgon's name is Your Own Risk.
And the Hydra operates piles of drones.
Excellent.
In addition to Your Own Risk and Non-Proliferation Disagreement, which are again, both really great names. In addition to those, they also have a Nightmare.
What the heck is that?
Nightmare is a controller class mech. They have a Mirage. They have 2 Virtues. And at that point, the scan started coming up with garbage data. It seems like they have the 2 lances, the Hydra and the Gorgon, as well as a Nightmare, a Mirage, and 2 Virtues. And it seems to be that there are other mechs, but it's not clear what they are. They don't seem to have a prepared designation.
Maybe they're scrambling it, or maybe it's experimental.
Yeah, it might be something experimental, or it might be something that's just being scrambled. It's hard to tell.
Yeah. Right. Wow. We'll just have to make such a big noise that both mechs come. Or both lances. Show up for the party.
Oh, I'm pretty sure I can do that.
You do know, Deadeye will note that paracausal tech can sometimes cause that issue with the scans. So whatever the additional mechs are, expect there to be some weird shit that they do.
I was already expecting weird shit.
To be fair, Horus, so.
Horus doing weird shit, but you repeat yourself, sir.
Yeah. For your edification, nightmares are controller type mechs. They hang on, pull it up here because you do get this information with your scans. Come here. Nightmares are manipulative controllers that they they apply debuffs to you basically. They can immobilize targets, or they can generate heat and cause you to move against your will.
I'll work on that.
They have an integrated basilisk, which is which basically makes attacks against them miss, so they're hard to hit.
Well, correction. If you miss, then you get impaired.
Yeah. Sorry. If you miss, it impairs you. That's right.
It's a miniature version of the Gorgon's ability that makes it punishes you for missing them.
Right. The nightmares are kind of miniature Gorgons to a degree. Sort of like how the Reaver is a miniature Balor.
Yeah.
Virtues are defensive drones. They deploy energy shields, and they employ energy shields and reload weapons for allies, cool their heat, things like that. And they tend to have overshield. And mirages are illusions. They're one of the like key Horus support mechs. They teleport. They use they teleport. They warp sensors. They make things invisible, and can make they are invisible themselves and can make other things invisible. So
Lovely.
And are likely and are if the other things that are coming up as scrambled are not using paracausal tech, it's likely that the Mirage is the reason why they're coming up scrambled. So
that would make sense.
Destroying a Mirage will reveal more information once it's down to a certain degree.
Okay.
All right. But with that information, you're halfway there. By the point you get that information, there's like a day and a half before you're going to talk. So you take that time to prepare yourselves mentally to put the finishing touches on your mechs, and to go over last minute battle plans. So with that new information as far as your opponents, you can take the time to adjust your mechs. Are you sticking with the strategy that you had so far with the NPCs going to one place and you all going to the other?
With them having 2 Lancers, what do we think? I'm wondering if we shouldn't stick together at that point.
To be clear, there's also no indication where you get those signatures, but there's no indication where those enemies are.
Mm-hmm. I'm just thinking, once they realize that there are 2 groups on board, they'll send one to finish off the weaker team and then combine again against to squash us.
It'll certainly be a danger. But I think if they divide themselves too broadly, 1 Lancer against 4 is going to be a tough fight, even with mech backup.
True.
So they may want to consolidate both of their Lancers against us and just send their regular mechs to fight regular mechs. I think we stick with the plan as it is, and if any emergency comes up, the other team contacts us. If they find them and start causing enough trouble that it becomes dangerous, the other team contacts us and tries to extract as quick as they can. We're not wasting lives here.
All right. So is that an addendum online?
If need be, they break out of the side of the base and circle around to the ship.
With that caveat in place. Excuse me. And the plan settled on. We'll pick up next time with the actual assault on the Horus satellite. On the satellite, we are the nail in the palms of the lamb. Say good night, everybody.
Good night.
Bye.
Good